Hey everyone, welcome back for part 2 of my horror DVD collection. Yep, you might see a couple dogs popping up in the background. It's because they like to get all over the place. Alright, well, let's start with the first one that I have for my collection, for part 2 at least, is A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid. I used to watch it all the time. I mean, all the time. I have lots of memories of sitting there in the living room in San Diego watching this with the lights off, standing by the window even, and just waiting for the killers to pop in. It's crazy stuff kids do when they were, terrified of horror movies, but this is a great movie, far superior to the remake that came out. The remake was just, oh man, it had a couple of interesting things about it, but this one is definitely the definitive version. There's no other reason why it should have been remade. Another cool thing about this is it's got a bunch of special features on here. And one of the things that I actually find interesting is I believe this must have been released back when computers first started getting the DVD-ROMs, because it has a thing for DVD-ROM users. It's saying, hey, DVD-ROM users, read the script while you watch the movie. Or put on closed captioning. So, hey, some of the features are a little bit meh. But otherwise, it's got some cool stuff in here. It's a really great movie, one of my favorites. The next one I have is the original Amityville Horror. Now this one, I remember watching this when I was a kid, and I thought, oh man, well first of all, it just stuck with me the whole time, growing up was just, I remember the scene with the flies and the priest. A lot of the stuff really scared the heck out of me when I was a kid, and it's just one of those movies that has had a huge impact in my life, because haunted houses are just one of the things that I absolutely love. And this definitely got me to love haunted houses. Just the whole aspect of paranormal activity and everything. Obviously, this is a lot of just kind of BS made up stuff. I've read the book, and I don't think any of it's true. But it's a really interesting story, nonetheless. It's got a few interesting special features on here. Nothing too great. There's a For God's Sake, Get Out documentary. That was pretty cool. And there's some radio spots, because you gotta remember, this is from the 70s, so they advertised it on the radio and everything, but otherwise, it's not too bad. And another really cool thing is, if you listen to if you listen to audio commentaries at all, they have an audio commentary with a parapsychologist. So that's really interesting. I think that they pretty much did a good job here on, special features for it. The next one I have is the remake of the Amityville Horror with Ryan Reynolds. This movie, I think, is amazing. It's one of my favorites of all time. I think they just did a great job in this remake. And usually, when Hollywood remakes a horror movie, it gets terrible. And I think they did a great job with this one. My only complaint is with the ending. I think the ending is a little bit, I don't know, they added too much stuff just to make it make sense, but, what are you going to do? Funny thing about this movie, actually, is I didn't own this for the longest time, even though I loved it. And I looked for it everywhere. Couldn't find it anywhere. My mom actually had to get it for me at a Walmart in Virginia and send it to me. Not 2 days after I got this in the mail, I went to Walgreens down the street from where I live, and this was in a bin for $3.99. Which makes me really upset. But, hey, I got it free, so I'm not going to complain. They got some decent special features. Got some deleted scenes. There's I don't know. There's a little thing about the actual murders and what happened there. So it's not too bad. I think the best part about this movie is Ryan Reynolds really is a great actor. He throws himself into the role. So it's great. I absolutely recommend owning this, watching it. Turn off all the lights and check it out. One of my favorite horror movies. Alright, the next one I have is Lost Colony. Now, I got this for my fiance's son because he begged me for it, and it was $5 at Walmart, and I thought, hey, the case is kind of cool. Look, it's got an interesting little ghost there. But as we've learned before, a cool case does not make a good movie. And what I should have realized was when I saw this, that's when I should have said, oh, that's a bad movie. It's sci-fi. Sci-fi makes really crappy movies. I guess the best thing about it is it's got Adrian Paul in it. Otherwise, it's not that great. It's about the lost Roanoke colony out in Virginia. It tries to say that instead of, them just leaving because they needed food or whatever, or needed assistance from the Native Americans to survive, and they integrated into their society, they were, in fact, set upon by Native American ghosts. So, yep. This movie sucks. Don't buy it. Don't watch it. I don't even think you can find it anymore. I haven't seen it for sale since I bought it. So, I might be the only person that owns this on DVD. The next one I've got is George Romero's Diary of the Dead. I don't like this movie at all. I love George Romero. That's why I bought it. Excuse me. And I hadn't heard anything about it aside from that, oh, it's George Romero. He's back to making zombie movies. How amazing. You know, the world's coming to an end. And I fangirled. I love George Romero. I was like, oh my god, George Romero's new movie. Gotta buy it. Day it was released. Bought it. Regretted it. It's got some interesting features. Nothing great. You know, the reason I don't like this movie is because he shoots it in a documentary style with the people in it. And one of the things at the very beginning that the girl says is they're showing clips of the movie. And she says, I've added music to the film for effect and drama. Well, my problem with that is, hey bitch, it's the zombie apocalypse. If it's true, you don't need more fucking drama. You've got fucking zombies. Why did you add music? It was just stupid. It was a really cheesy way for them to say, look, we're going to add music to it, but we got to have a reason why. This came out during the craze of all the fucking documentary, you know, horror movies. Cloverfield. I don't know. There was a ton of shitty ones like that. I didn't like Cloverfield either. I'm not a fan of that movie at all. But yeah, this isn't one of my favorites. I've only seen it twice. And I really don't want to see it anymore. And you know, one of the funniest things about this, just to date it, it's got some MySpace winners on there, you know. So, I guess if you became a fan of this on MySpace, you, I don't know, maybe you got to win a copy of this crappy movie. Alright. Next up, a movie I got from my mom, Decoys. I haven't seen it. I haven't even opened it. She sends me a lot of movies, and I love my mom because she sends me so many cool movies. I just got a pile of movies I got to make my way through, and this is on the pile of movies to be seen. I've heard some stuff about it being, it's kind of like, I guess, Invasion of the Body Snatchers in a way, or maybe Species, I'm not really sure. But one of the things that I find interesting about it is the most prominent feature on the back of the movie is a woman in a state of undress, and possibly ecstasy. I don't know. But, yeah. So, I don't really know. I'm not too sure on this movie. I've never really heard anything about it. I'll check it out sometime. I'll post a review on here, tell you what I think. Maybe it's good. Maybe it sucks. Who knows? The next movie I have is one of my favorite movies from when I was a kid. Absolutely loved this movie when I was a kid. It's The Stuff. Alright. Now, as an adult, I just recently saw this with my friend Alex, you know, as an 80s slasher here on YouTube. And when we watched it, I realized how weird this movie is. It's not exactly a horror movie. It's not exactly an action movie. It's just a whole lot of fucking mess. None of it really makes any sense at all. And it's hilarious the entire time. So, I mean, I don't know. It's no longer my favorite horror movie, I'll tell you that much. But it's definitely an odd movie. It's a relic of the 80s. And it shows. It's got some weird stuff. The title sequence is terrible. I got a video on here showing the title sequence. It's just, there's a lot of really bad stuff about this movie and very few good things about it. Paul Sorvino's in it. You know, that's strange. But yeah, The Stuff. The next one I have is one of my favorite movies. I just think it's so gory and so great and so hilarious. It's Feast. And this movie, I believe, was actually the Project Greenlight winner. I know Ben Affleck and Matt Damon produced this. I think it was the Project Greenlight winner, if anybody remembers that aside from me. It's a really cool movie. Got a lot of great special features. The monsters, you can see right there, they're all just really well done. And it's hilarious. There's some gross things in here. I mean, I can't even really get into it without ruining the surprise if you watch it. It's crazy. There's some pretty cool special features in here also. There's a making of documentary and all that good stuff. Definitely a great movie to own. I love it. And you know, one of the coolest things about this is my friend Alex. Again, an 80s slasher. He gave me this. Thank you, Alex. You're an awesome friend. The last movie on the show right now in part 2 is Pet Sematary. This is an interesting movie. I'm a very big fan of Stephen King and his works. I've read a lot of Stephen King books. I used to be in the Stephen King book club and get them all the time. This is a great book. It doesn't translate that well to the screen. A lot of Stephen King's books don't translate that well. And it's still good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still, if you're not going to read the book, at least watch the movie. That's good. It's just not as great as it could have been. And I don't know who to blame for that. Maybe I should blame Mary Lambert, the director. I have no idea if she's done anything else after this or anything at all. But yeah, I don't know. The special features are kind of lax in it. So you got Stephen King's Pet Sematary, Stephen King territory, which, of course, Stephen King territory. He wrote the fucking book. Stephen King's Pet Sematary, the characters. If you watch the movie, you don't really need a bio on the fucking characters. And Stephen King's Pet Sematary, filming the horror. The only worthwhile thing on this documentary, or on this DVD for special features. There's a commentary with the director, which I assume she just talks about how amazing she is. I don't know. I'm not going to listen to it. Don't get me wrong. This is a good movie. I like this movie. I'm glad that I got it. My mom actually sent me this movie, so thanks, Mom. But it's not as good as the book, as with a lot of Stephen King movies. So that's quite unfortunate. But hey, that's the end of part 2. I will have part 3 coming very soon. I mean, I am pumping these out as fast as possible, and I'm going to be uploading them on YouTube. So I hope everybody enjoys it. If you do, leave a comment. Tell me what you want me to do, you know. If you want me to juggle cats, I'll try to juggle cats. So, anyway, hope you enjoy.